Okay, we're leaving the docks and we're headed to Mustique. We're gonna go around the windward sides of the island because it's such a light wind day. So this should be a really nice sail. We've got about 17 total miles to go. Goodbye, Marina. It's been very nice. How come we look so clean, Lindy?
We just took a final rinse before heading out.
We got everything ready and we're like, all right, one last awesome shower. There we go. Oh, nice place. Hey, how we doing, Lindy?
Good.
All right. So far, so good. We made our turn and we've got our sails raised. We're right on the edge of where we can just barely sail. So if we would have went around the leeward side of the island like we normally do, we definitely would not be able to sail straight to Mustique. Here along the windward side, kind of cool, we're just out here in the Atlantic Ocean. The reef is right over there. Moving along. Strange to look out to the starboard side and see nothing. Usually we're on that side of the island.
It may seem like a small thing, but sailing along the windward side is really a pretty big deal for us. Typically, hiding behind the islands on the Caribbean side from the winds and the waves of the Atlantic makes for easy sailing. But today's light winds were different, and it really helped our sailing angle.
We're moving along. We haven't been out here that long, and there's the point of Canouan now. So it's going good. The wind angle is improving as we go. So it's just really nice. Right around 10 knots is the wind speed. And as usual, we've got the mainsail reefed a lot more than it should be. We've got out the whole head sail, but yeah, Holiday is a pretty good sailor. So we're moving along. We got about 3.5 hours to go if we just go slow like this, which will be nice. I'm enjoying it. This is at least as nice and probably better than I hoped. How about you, Lindy? Is it all right out here?
Yeah. A little lumpy.
Lumpy. Yeah, it is. It's definitely. It's not like it's smooth, but we've done much worse poundings than this.
Much worse, including this same stretch back in December, when we sailed in high winter winds and mountainous seas from Canouan to Bequia. Now into April, the winter winds were mostly gone, with typical milder spring weather, making our second trek from the southern to the northern Grenadines much more pleasant.
And we got Lindy getting in some practice at the helm. How's our wind angle, Lindy?
I mean, yeah, we're not really pointed at Mustique. Yeah, and I mean, 10 degrees would like make all the difference in the world, to be honest. But we're not terrible. Well, right now it's terrible.
And we're wanting to go over there. So we're probably gonna have to tack, that's all right. So there's petite Mustique there and Savon is there.
We had been cruising in the Grenadines for 4 months now. Mustique was the last major Grenadine island that we hadn't visited yet. We were hoping to spend the last couple of months of our 6-month visa doing this, then seeing Bequia again, and possibly going to the main island of St Vincent, before heading back to Grenada for hurricane season.
We've been out about 4 hours now, and our tack has taken us right in between Bequia and Mustique. There's Bequia downwind of us, and we are about to tack and head on in to Mustique. Looks nice over there. All right, so yeah, just a few minutes. We'll hang a right and sail on over. Okay, we made our tack. Sailing right towards Mustique. That's a petite Mustique there.
putting us into play, and it just takes a second to like get your vibe.
It's always that same way for me too. When I'm on one tack for a long time, then you tack and you're on the other side, and it feels like the boat's just not responding like it should. So the opposite tack always feels different. We're maybe a mile out, probably a little less, and it's about time to pull in the sails, turn on the engine, and find our mooring ball. What do you think, Lindy? We're doing good, right?
Yeah.
Only a little over 4.5 hours. Starting to see some really big houses and estates lining the island. It'll be cool to look up like which one each famous person belongs to.
Probably the most interesting thing about Mustique is its exclusivity. It's a private island, and basically every estate is owned by someone rich and famous.
All right, well, it's time to, yeah, go on in, check out Mustique. Okay, we made it in. Sanitas is right here next to us. Here's Mustique. It's pretty awesome. That was a great sail. There, just on the horizon, is back away. It's hazy today. We've been swimming behind the boat. It's beautiful here. Sun's getting low. There's about as many turtles here as was out in the Tobago Keys. They're swimming all around the boat. It's just awesome. And we've been watching them unload the ferry. We're gonna head to Basil's right over there. And that's like the main hangout. So we'll check it out. Maybe see some famous people. We'll see.
Cruising sailors are allowed, for a fee, to take mooring balls here for a maximum of 3 nights. Hiking around the island's roads and beautiful beaches can be fairly limited depending on which of Mustique's private wealthy residents happen to be visiting at the time. But there are quite a few common areas anyone can go to, with the possibility of hanging out with Mick Jagger, Tommy Hilfiger, or maybe one of the British royals. Our first impression here at Basil's was that the food, drinks, and service were much more like a beach resort than what we had experienced in most of the southern Grenadines, but the prices definitely matched as well. And no, Mick Jagger never showed up on this evening.
Basil's last night was certainly fun, and today we're going to go do a little walking on Mustique. One thing that's going on not here in Mustique is that the volcano on the main island of St Vincent that's been active for the last few months started erupting this morning. They noticed that there were some earthquakes and extra activity last night and sent notices out to people, and they evacuated that section of the island, but we can't see anything from here. Yeah, so actually erupting. We don't think there's any danger to us here. And time to go do some hiking on Mustique. You ready for some hiking, Lindy?
I am ready for some hiking.
Cool. Okay. Looks like Mike and Jen are getting ready. So let's go to shore. We're on a hunt for Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger.
Having lived with reports and warnings of volcanic activity on the main island of St. Vincent for the last 3 months, We weren't sure what to expect yet from the new news of an eruption, but nothing made us think that there was any danger of staying in Mustique, even though we had just moved about 15 miles closer to the volcano than we otherwise would have been. We managed to have a great hike around the beautiful island, only getting turned around by private property signs a few times. Back in town around Basil's, we saw some of the village where the 500 or so local residents that work on the island year-round live. After checking out Holiday and Sanitas in the bay from this high spot, we saw some locals gathered in the street, and they pointed out to our amazement that you could actually see the plume from the volcano from here.
From up here we can see the plume coming out of the volcano. Wow. That's amazing.
A little unnerved, we returned to our boats and wondered what we should do next.
There's the volcano erupting. Wow. That's wild.
It's Saturday morning, the day after the volcano was erupting, and we woke up to the boat being covered in ash. You can kind of see it through the window there. You can really see it on these water tanks. It's currently raining, which is nice. Hopefully it's gonna rinse some of it off.
A little bit later in the morning, I think the ash may have gotten a little worse. See, it's kind of all down in the non-skid, covering the hatches. I think the rain made it look a little worse. I'm gonna throw some buckets of water on it and see how easily it washes off. But I don't think I'm gonna spend too much time on it because I think there's just more coming. It's a little bit of a losing battle, but at least it washes off fairly easy. Wow. We'll just, I don't know, we'll see at the end of the day. I think we're gonna go to the island and do a little bit more hiking, but you can see, I don't know if it would be a cloudy day like this otherwise. There's something that's caused by the volcano, but yeah. Mike's doing a little wash down too. I'll throw a couple more buckets, I guess.
We had reports from friends that ash was covering boats as far south as Grenada, so we didn't really know what to do. And with one more night allowed in Mustique, we decided to stay. Hiking seemed like the best idea since it wasn't really pleasant to sit closed in on the boat covered with ash. We also got permission from security to hike further past private property signs than is normal, and later found out it was probably because they had evacuated all the wealthy residents to other island nations much further north in the Caribbean. It was a strange hike in the hazy air on an empty island, And even though it was still beautiful, we knew that we wanted to come back one day in better times on a clear day. Also on our minds were the tens of thousands of people we had heard had been evacuated from their homes around the volcano, and the helpless feeling of not knowing what we could do for them. We second-guessed then, and still do now, our choice to stay on the island, and began to prepare to go somewhere else, not sure where, and not sure what effects the volcano would have on the daily lives of everyone.
We did some grocery shopping because we're wanting to get out of here and go somewhere else. We wanted to make sure the boat was fully stocked.
More and more ash was falling as we headed back to Holiday, trying to keep a good attitude and make the best out of the situation. But uncertainty reigned as our hopes for a couple of months in the northern Grenadines faded, knowing these 3 days were probably the only ones we were going to get. Stay tuned for our next episode where we head off in search of clearer skies, cleaner air, and less volcanic ash. Not sure if we'd be able to find that anywhere or how long this would last.